Looks like we have our work cut out for us this time, my dear assistant. This looks to be another act of malicious mischief by the mysterious King Pun. And so far, we have 0 suspects. Who could this mysterious vandal be?
Well, I just have no idea, sir.
Ellen DeGeneres! Another one! It must be someone close by. My dear assistant, did you happen to see the culprit?
No, sir. This person must be really sneaky.
Rosie O'Donnell! Another one! Assistant? My dear assistant, it was you all along.
Hi, gay!
Happy Pradman!
So today we're going to be reviewing a movie called Crush.
Yeah, on Hulu.
Our last review was also on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
It's true.
So yeah.
So
Crush.
Crush is a coming-of-age story featuring a bunch of like queer teen girls. It stars Rowan Blanchard in the main role playing Paige, who's a junior in high school. She's very artistic and she's preparing to go to a summer course for her dream college of Cal Arts. During that time, there's a lot of like graffiti going on.
Yeah, somebody is vandalizing their school
Although,
with
like,
all these
Banksy.
like punny art. And this person always signs it King Pun. Paige being the artist.
Clearly the only artistic student.
Yeah, the known artist of the school. She's like suspect number 1, pretty
Yeah.
much. Pulled into her principal's office.
Basically being accused by both the principal and the track coach as being King Pun. So to avoid like suspension, she makes a sort of like plea deal with the both of them in that she'll join the track team and find out who King Pun is.
She's gonna be like undercover.
Yeah.
Like, and in the track team trying to
Sleuth it out.
Yeah, sleuth out who the actual King Pun is.
And things get a little complicated because on the track team is her basically childhood crush, Gabriela Campos, who's also like a lesbian.
She's played by
Isabella Ferreira.
we're fans of from Love Victor.
Love Victor,
She
great
plays the
character.
sister.
She almost plays like a 180. She's like this pretty lesbian girl, almost like
Super popular in school.
super popular. Like everybody loves her. And things get a little more complicated when Gabby's twin sister, AJ, played by the lovely Auli'i Cravalho, mentors Paige in her track endeavors.
And AJ has a secret crush on Paige.
Everybody was on the track team,
everybody.
apparently.
Well, because of course, that's how they have to interact with the different characters.
Oh, I did tell Julian that we were watching. I was like, I ran track. Like, it's a gay person sport. So basically, that's the setup of the whole story.
So, so many thoughts about this movie.
Okay.
Okay, so where do we start?
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, spoiler
As
alert.
always, we're going to be talking about things that happen in the film. So if you haven't seen this yet, please go watch it on Hulu or wherever it's available in your country. And then you come back here and then you can join in our discussion.
Yeah, so first things first, I love Auli'i Cravalho. She's actually the reason why I wanted to watch the movie.
I would agree with that.
Like, I'm a huge fan of Moana, because who isn't?
Who isn't?
I don't know, I was just curious to see if she could even act.
She was great in this. She was
She was
so good.
She's the best part of this movie for me.
I mean, there was no bad performances, I don't think, but she was such a surprise.
Yeah.
To me, she brought so many good nuances and she was pretty funny.
Yeah, because she plays this like really hard exterior type of girl who's a little standoffish, but then she also has to play this vulnerable side because she secretly has always been like in love with Paige,
That she knows is in love with
her sister.
Yeah. She's so good.
Just your eye just goes to her.
She's adorable too. But yeah, that's like one thing that we loved about the movie.
Okay, so let's just get into it. So maybe this movie just wasn't for me, but I had a lot of issues with it.
Okay.
My main issue was the whole premise was this mystery of who King Pun was. Paige is trying to like snoof who this King Pun is so that she isn't blamed.
Yeah, in
for
fact,
this
like
graffiti.
to the point where like everybody's helping her, all her friends and stuff like that.
But as soon as AJ, Ali's character, shows up, I'm like, okay, that's King Pun. And lo and behold, spoiler alert, she ends up being King Pun.
Yeah, shocker.
I assumed she was, because I knew that she was going to be the love interest to Paige. So it made sense
for her to be,
from a narrative standpoint, for her to be King Pun. I don't know if you figured it out at the start of the movie.
Okay, so there was a moment where Paige reluctantly goes to like a house party and she talks to AJ. She tells AJ like, oh yeah, the school thinks I'm King Pun, and AJ gets immediately defensive. Again, a great bit of acting from Auli'i Cravalho, and that she says something like, King Pun's art is harmless. I'm like,
I wonder why you would think that.
Yeah, it's you, girl.
Yeah, I know.
It's you, girl.
So yeah, so that took the whole mystery out of the movie for me, and the whole movie centers around that. And so to me, I was just like,
there was no tension.
There's no tension.
So like, I think like a reveal that's done by the author, like almost like a twist, if the audience figures it out, I think it's a good reveal because the author left these sort of like breadcrumbs along the way. One example I could think of is like rose quartz as pink diamond.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was good.
Very good.
Throughout the series, they're like
little hints, and
which aren't
super blatant,
and like not a lot of focus is put on it.
Yeah,
but it makes sense when the twist is revealed. Yep, I agree.
So it's something that's not like completely blindsided you, or something that's like, oh, it's such a big twist and it's such a shocker, like please don't spoil the film when you watch it, right? So for this, it sort of does hit the mark in that aspect, but only at that one moment at the party, and it doesn't leave this trail where like, oh, it could be her, no, wait a second, it might not be her, it could be this person, wait, no, it could be her again because of this. It was just like, because of this bit of dialogue that AJ had with Paige, like the audience already knows like it's her. You know what I mean? So I'm a little ambivalent on that aspect.
So another thing I wish the film did was during an earlier part of the movie, you're introduced to all these other queer girls in school. They were talking about who she could potentially have a relationship with. Part of me wished we got to know all these other girls more.
Sure, yeah.
There was like
the
witchy girl.
Yeah, the witchy girl.
And then there was like
the horse
lesbian. And then there was like the
social media girl played by Jess Tom, another comedian who's really funny.
Like I wanted to get to know each and every one of these people.
Yeah, because the bits that we got with like the witch girl,
so funny,
were so funny.
So a part of me wishes, and I don't know if this would have worked or not, if they had done like some sort of Scott Pilgrim thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
And the mystery revolved around they knew King Pun was a queer girl for whatever reason. Yeah. And so the main suspects were like all these different girls.
For sure.
And then the whole movie is just like delving deep into like all the queer girls and like their backstories and like their histories and relationships.
For sure.
Characterizations. I thought that would have been a little more interesting.
And I think that would have allowed for more like red herrings to kind of like...
It'd be less predictable.
Yeah.
And we got to know all these other characters
for
more,
sure. And
who I thought would have been more interesting than some of the others characters on the show. Personally.
Let's talk about some good stuff.
So one of the good things I really like were all the adult characters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They were pretty much cameos. So the principal is played by Michelle Buteau. Huge fan of her stand-up.
Her stand-up is so hilarious. Funny. And she was also funny in Always Be My Maybe.
Oh yeah. As the assistant.
Yeah, it's Ali Wong.
Water? That came from your thigh gap? No, thank you. Thanks for calling it a gap.
Yeah.
So freaking
so
funny.
Good. And then the coach is played by Asif Manvi, who I'm also a huge fan of because of The Daily Show.
And his like southern ass accent.
I know he plays such a douchebag, but he's like so funny.
He's so funny. And then Paige's mom is played by Megan Mullally,
who I also love from Will and Grace. I mean, okay, she plays the same character in every movie. The older, like horny, sex positive older
lady.
Woman.
Yeah, and she's like the sex positive supporting mom.
Yeah, but she plays the same character in Will and Grace. She plays the same character in Parks and Recreation.
Oh yeah.
This could end up being the best night in Ron Swanson's life. I am so happy for him.
Hello, you gorgeous craftsman. Wow, look at this room. So much wood ready to be worked.
Me.
So I really loved all the adult characters.
Yeah.
They were really funny.
And it didn't take me out too, because sometimes if like in films where there's like a lot of big names that I can recognize, it generally takes me out of it. It just kind of felt seamless to me.
So when they go on that sleepover
away trip.
AJ and Paige are locked into the bathroom because they play this game of
7 minutes in heaven.
7 minutes in heaven. I had never heard of it.
I did. That's clearly an American thing.
I grew up in the Philippines. I don't know.
Yeah.
What that is. It's an all-boys school. We couldn't play those kinds of games.
Yeah.
But Paige and AJ end up kissing.
They end up kissing. They talk about like their lives and dreams as they're lying in bed facing each other in some very cute romantic sort of moments.
And that's when Paige realizes that she's actually interested in AJ, not so much Gabriella.
And not Gabby.
Up until that point, Paige was very like neurotic. She's so in her head about how she's supposed to like act around Gabby. And to me, it was such a big twist when in that scene, she was the confident one and AJ was like the insecure, sensitive one.
I think that's to show like she's more comfortable with AJ. Now.
That makes sense. Yeah. So actually, in that sense, that was actually really good.
Yeah.
That's a really good scene. And then at the very end, pretty much like AJ reveals that she's King Pun. She feels betrayed because Gabby and Paige had kissed before their kiss.
Paige had told AJ that like, oh, I've never kissed another girl before.
Yeah, that was a lie because she had kissed Gabby. So then AJ being mad, she's like, oh, I'm King Pun. So that was a reveal to the whole mystery, pretty much.
Shocker.
I know, like, ooh, big surprise. One thing I did like, though, was the relationship between AJ and her sister Gabby, especially towards the end. And I kind of wish we got a lot more of it towards the start of the movie because, first of all, I didn't know they were twins. I knew they were sisters. Yeah. And obviously, they're in the same grade, so you can infer that they're twins. Yeah. But it wasn't stated that they were twin sisters till, like, much later.
The very end.
So for a big part of the movie, I was so confused. I was like, is she adopted? Like, are they actually the same age? Maybe they just were different ages, but they just happen to be in the same grade level. Yeah. Those questions were like in my mind.
And to me,
for
like,
a big part of the movie.
And to me, if you put like Isabella Ferreira and like Auli'i Cravalho next to each other, I'm like,
they look nothing alike.
They don't look like twins to me. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
Towards the end, AJ and Gabriella have this conversation about how AJ always felt like she was in Gabriella's shadow. Gabriella always gets all the attention from everybody. And AJ's always sort of left behind. I thought that was very like emotionally heartfelt and well acted scene. Kind of wish I got a little more of that earlier in the film, like just the relationship between the two sisters.
We don't really see them a lot together.
We don't see them interacting with each other at all until like that last scene. I mean, they would talk a little bit while they were, because they're both on the track team.
And they were co-captains on the track
team. There's a little bit of interaction there, but in terms of just like their sisterly relationship.
Yeah, we never saw like any growth.
I kind of wish that was a bigger part of the film.
I see what you're saying. The film wasn't really about them.
Sure, it was about Paige.
Yeah.
But
I totally understand. Like if we had, because we were getting flashbacks of Paige, only had like one or two of like the sisters. And like in the very end, that's when they started really interacting with each other.
At the very end of the movie, the way the whole thing gets resolved is Paige makes this big public proclamation of love towards AJ. Yeah. Before that, AJ actually confesses to the principal that she was King Pun.
She gets suspended.
And she's gonna get suspended. Minor gripe again. Oh my God. At the very end, Paige does her big proclamation of love. The principal comes out and says, oh, by the way, nobody's suspended. Was that weird to you? That was so weird to me because I'm like, this whole time. First of all, it's not explained why no one is suspended, but suddenly there's no repercussions for anything.
Okay, well.
How did you.
That never occurred to me because like.
But she said that. She said no one's suspended.
Sure. But like. Okay.
Maybe I'm being nitpicky at
Paige's
this point.
proclamation of love went hand in hand with her campus beautification project. Paige creates this mural of her basically romance with AJ. And to me, that was like, oh, yeah, maybe we should encourage arts in the school.
Okay.
So you're not going to get suspended. And also her campus mural project was basically her submission, Paige's submission, to Cal Arts summer program. So everything sort of wraps up in that moment. That's how I took it as. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we need to rewatch. I don't know if Michelle Buteau or the principal says like, oh yeah, you know.
I remember that because I was so confused.
She didn't give an explanation?
No. As far as I know, there was no explanation. She was just like, okay, no one's suspended. And yeah, thanks for the idea of beautification art. So maybe, that was like her way of thanking them for like a great idea that she's eventually going to take credit for. It was very...
Principal Ava.
Principal Ava of her, yeah.
No press is bad press, Barb. Look at Mel Gibson. Still thriving. Daddy's home too? Hilarious.
Ava's our principal. She has a unique take on her job.
She's bad at her job.
Overall, final thoughts.
It was very cute, very heartfelt. I thought the reveal could have used more time and, again, put a little bit more stepping stones there. I think you had a lot of narrative issues.
I had a lot of narrative issues, but I was never bored. Like, I was I was entertained throughout the movie. There are things I personally would have wanted different from a narrative standpoint, but I still enjoyed watching it. Like, I still watched the whole thing. I never, like, wanted to turn it off. Sure. Auli'i Cravalho's character and her acting
so endearing
carried the movie for me.
I thought so too. Yeah, it was a lot of great funny moments, and none of the humor felt forced.
And none of the actors were bad. I just want to make
every performer was great.
Clear, yeah. So overall, I mean, if the premise even remotely interests you, and you just want to watch like a light romance rom-com, teen rom-com.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the time, like, it's definitely worth a watch.
And let us know down in the comments what you thought. If you disagree with any of our opinions, feel free to make it known down in the comments.
Nicely.
Or not nicely, I don't know.
I'm sensitive.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks.
So,
if you like this review, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit that bell button to make sure you get notifications to our channel.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Till next time.
Till the next video. Bye.
This person must be really sneaky.